Atleti win, and deservedly so.
No, deservedly so, Shaq.
Given what we saw in the last 15 minutes, where I thought Barcelona was simply awful.
That's tough, though, isn't it? To look at that game over 90 minutes and say that Atleti deserves to win.
Okay, you have all the possession, you have chances. Granted, most of those fall to Antoine Griezmann, and he made an absolute mess of those. You give up a goal within 20 seconds of the restart after halftime, and then the last 20 minutes you spend chasing Atletico Madrid to your own goal. You're asking for trouble. And again, the same criticisms we've always had about Barcelona. Unless Lionel Messi is superhuman, and he tried to be, this is a bang-average Barca team, and at the back, I mean, they're desperate. And as a result, you come up against decent opposition who take a couple of their chances, you're going to lose.
Well, the only thing I would disagree is that Atletico, you can't say they deserved it. I mean, at half-time, you can talk about Barcelona being terrible the last 20 minutes and chasing the game, but I'll tell you what, how much money have Atletico Madrid and Simeone spent on his team over the last couple of years to turn around in that first 45 and play like a mid-table nonsense team who are just going to sit tight and hopefully get on the break? I mean, because that's all they were doing.
Well, that's all they were doing. You know what you're getting out of Simeone's teams.
But you can't turn around and say they deserve it, Shaka. Listen, I am not disagreeing that defensively Barcelona's a shambles, and they have been for a couple of years. But with the amount of possession, with the amount of pressure, you can't say they deserved it. Come on.
Listen, if and as much as you're saying that Barca were chasing it towards the end of the game, Atleti scored with 3 minutes to go in the end of the game to take the lead.
Ali?
You give credit to Atletico Madrid in exploiting what is a very clear flaw from Barcelona. If they lose the ball in a bad area in transition, they have nobody who can defend over distance and in 1v1 situations. And when you see Gerard Piqué challenging for a ball the way that he did in that third goal, I question everything about Gerard Piqué and how embarrassing of an attempt that was. You can't have it happening. Not from a guy of his experience and his know-how, a guy of his accolade. He cannot make that sort of challenge. And I don't care whether people give this competition importance or not. In a ball that you have to win, late in a match, in a game that is tied 2-2, in what is indeed a semifinal, you playing for a trophy, whether you care for this trophy or not, you're there, make the challenge. Put your butt in the line, make the challenge. It's what you're paid to do. So that in itself is embarrassing. I just think Barcelona, this is not a surprise that they lose a game like this. Because they do have the possession, they do control games, but unless they put those games away, everybody that plays Barcelona, that gives them some sort of challenge offensively, that gives them some sort of speed to try to get in behind, they're always going to make it difficult for Barcelona because this team is not good enough to just let chances get away from them. Every team that plays Barcelona, and I don't care what level we're talking about, it could be the last team in La Liga like it was this past weekend, that is willing to go and press Barcelona and go and try to go and get in behind Barcelona, you're going to create problems. Because right now, they're not nearly as good with the possession of the ball out of the midfield, and they are certainly not nearly as good defensively. And so, when you win the ball in those areas and you go and challenge Barcelona, you have an opportunity.
Let's welcome Julien into the show. Jules, of course, heavily critical of Ernesto Valverde over the last few months, calling for his head on numerous occasions. But Jules, today, is it really Valverde's fault when you've got Piqué doing that for the third goal?
He's not the only one to blame. It hasn't been only him at fault all season. Today, like you said, a few of the players were below par, but I just think that he's the man responsible. For me, there would be no point for Barcelona to keep continuing with him this season. There's no structure, there's no organization to this team. He can't make them defend better. I mean, they've conceded 23 goals in La Liga already in 19 games. It was 2 at the weekend against Espanyol. It was 3 tonight against Atletico, an Atletico Madrid team who had 28% of the ball. And yet you concede 3 goals and 6 shots on target with 28% of the ball. I mean, he's destroyed Frenkie de Jong's game. It's not Frenkie de Jong's playing now. It's his brother or his sister or, whatever. But I don't know what he did with him. And all this, even tonight, his coaching is 25 minutes late. He waited the 86th minute to bring Rakitic on, and then the 28th minute to bring Ansu Fati on. All that, for me, shows that he showed his limits, and there's just no future for him at the club. There shouldn't be.
But you look at that team, and Piqué, we've discussed. Busquets, nowhere near the Busquets that he was obviously with Xavi and Iniesta. And if Messi's not firing up front, Suarez has done well of late. Griezmann's a bust. So far, I don't think that's an overstatement. You've got Neto in goal because Ter Stegen's injured. How much responsibility really for this does Valverde take?
Well, what I would say about Valverde is that if you were going to get rid of him, this should have happened in the summer. This should have happened
post-Liverpool,
Post-Liverpool. And you let him hang on to the end of the season because, well, they were going to win La Liga. But after Copa del Rey final, you shake his hand and say, Ernesto, this was great, but take care, see you later. It's time to move on in a different direction. Because now it's sort of a dead man walking situation going on with Ernesto Valverde. The other thing I would say is that you don't fire Ernesto Valverde because he lost the semifinal of the Spanish Super Cup. Because if we're going to criticize this tournament the way that we have, and we're going to say this is actually a glorified friendly and one that has been taken to Saudi Arabia, and we would not give credit to Barcelona or Valverde for winning this, then we cannot take credit away from Valverde for losing this. So all I would tell you is that if you were going to get rid of Valverde, this should have happened a long time ago. But it doesn't happen because you lost to Atletico Madrid in Saudi Arabia.
But it doesn't help, obviously.
No,
Of
course it does.
This obviously, after the 2-2 draw against Espanyol,
Dan, sometimes you can't shake results off. Them losing in the Champions League the way they did to Liverpool was the time. And I'm 100% with Ali. Some results and some performances you can't shake off. The only way you shake it off is by a complete change and completely blowing the cobwebs away. The fact that he turns up first day of pre-season training the following year, that result and that feeling is still there, and it's just carrying on.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.